Welcome back. One thing I think that as parents, we expect from those who choose to be educators is that they treat our children in a way that helps them to build self esteem, self respect, as well as dignity. Uh, I think that one of the real hallmarks of a good education is an individual who comes out and he's self aware. She's aware that she has limitations, but she's actively working so that she can conquer those limitations. And I believe that is the case, or should be the case, for all children. The main thrust of education is to prepare an individual, whether it be a boy or a girl, to be a productive citizen. And so, in this next video, you will have to excuse me if some of the portions of the video that we're about to look at strike me as difficult to understand. Because this is an educator, and as an educator, she's been required to take on several college courses, obtaining a bachelor's as well as a master's, and maybe even more than that. But it all is centered around education, how to properly educate someone. So let's take a look at the video and you'll see what I mean.
Disturbing news this evening that's left a community upset. A Pulaski County Special School District mom claims her son was forced to dig into a dirty toilet by his teacher. THV 11's Jay Jackson sat down with the child's family for more details in tonight's top story.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Soldier. That's why I want to be a soldier.
I know when he's not lying.
Ashley Murray couldn't believe what her son said his teacher made him do in class last Friday.
She made me get my boo-boo out with my bare hands in the toilet. And I'm like, are you serious?
Murray alleges that her son's kindergarten teacher at Crystal Hill Elementary School wanted to teach him a lesson about clogging the classroom toilet.
I come from a line of teachers. I've taught school in the private sector. That is not what we're taught. You would never, ever, you wouldn't even have to second guess yourself.
The Pulaski County Special School District released a statement Wednesday afternoon saying they're actively investigating these alleged actions. The teacher in question is on administrative leave. After talking to the principal, Murray says the teacher gave her a call.
And said, I don't have an explanation on what happened. I just know that I'm deeply sorry for what happened.
And now they're seeking legal action on the incident.
She needs to be terminated. I feel like she does not need to teach in any school district. She does not need to be around any kids. Her license needs to be taken.
I think that they felt like if she said she was sorry, that would make things go away.
And for Murray's son, she's hoping this doesn't affect his want to keep learning in school.
The teacher been mean to me.
Now the teacher in question deactivated her Facebook page and her Instagram account is private, so we couldn't get a response. Reporting in North Little Rock, Jay Jackson, THV 11 News.
Well, as you notice throughout the video, there's not much information given about who the teacher is. So after doing a little research and a little digging, we come to find out that the teacher is Carla Lassiter. And so, as I mentioned, the video itself, the details of what this young man was forced to do, they're being investigated. But if for one moment we take away the emotionality that's involved, something that's absolutely going to leave a trauma on this young man and his family, that cannot be denied. So, as I mentioned, if we take away all of the emotionality that's embedded in this situation, it's necessary to see that though being a teacher is a very stressful situation, it's difficult at times, especially if you are dealing with a special section of education, as was mentioned by the video, special education, as some would call it. But nevertheless, regardless of whether an individual is a special education teacher or not, there are courses that teachers are required to take that help them to deal with students that may be unruly and disruptive, but more importantly, to create an atmosphere where everyone in the class feels like they belong. So now, the question here is, if Ms. Lassiter is an individual who has gone through that particular training. She is aware of what's required, what the standard is for her. Then why did this situation occur? As I mentioned, we don't want to focus so much right now on race because that's an inflammatory topic. But what I want to understand about the situation is, why would you do any human being this way? Regardless of race, regardless of gender, why would any human being be forced to unclog a toilet with waste in it with their bare hands? And I think also the situation just continues to gain ground when you look at the fact that there are individuals on site, custodians that are paid to make sure that these kind of difficulties are handled. They're taken care of. They have the necessary tools and the necessary equipment to keep them safe while at the same time handling this kind of difficulty. Why was it necessary for this young man to have to take his bare hands and take waste out of the toilet? So regardless of the individuals that are involved, I would say, being a father myself, that this kind of behavior is not something that reflects well on individuals who are teachers. You do teachers a disservice when you engage in activities like that. And I'll tell you what I mean. Growing up in the Delta, a very impoverished area, we had teachers who had gone through the necessary schooling and training to be teachers of science and chemistry, biology, all of the different facets involved in getting a high school education. They were proficient in their particular areas. But I noticed that during my high school years especially, there were certain teachers that were more dynamic. And they were more dynamic because they cared deeply about their students, and they took their students on. The responsibility of this student progressing in a positive fashion was something that they relished. To see that a student would graduate from Humphreys County High School, go off and make something of themselves, then come back and thank them was something that they looked forward to. They were prideful. Yes, they were individuals who took pride in the job that they did because they knew that in the future, depending on the job that they did, it could change an individual's course of life. And so they were adamant about doing a good job. They were adamant about their students doing the best that they possibly could, and they pushed them in that direction. So now if Ms. Lassiter has lost that particular feeling in regards to her students, then maybe it's time that she seeks other employment. Because this is not so much a matter of race as some may try to make it out to be. It's not so much a matter of not taking the child's emotional state into consideration. This is simply an issue of whether or not it would be correct for a human being that is 5 years old to be subjected to this kind of treatment. Is it a logical thing to do when there are individuals that are assigned in your immediate area to handle a situation like that if it was to come up? And if you look at that situation and you say logically that this does not hold water, then I would have to agree with you. So parents, please, make sure that you are involved in every step of your child's education. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and when I pick up from school every day, she downloads everything that happened during the day. And listen, she is a talker, but she downloads everything that happened during the day, and I am, for the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'm listening. I'm listening because I need to pick up on anything that might be causing difficulty for my daughter, or if there's a situation where I need to intervene in her behalf. The parents that got involved in this particular situation, they were right on it. So I say kudos to them. Make sure that your child receives the best education that they possibly can in the best of circumstances. As parents, that's our responsibility. That's our accountability. And so I thank you once again for tuning in. As always, be easy.